Seduction isn't about charm or luck, it's about understanding the hidden psychological triggers that make people obsessed with you. What if I told you there's a science to making someone desperately want your attention? That every glance, word, and pause can be weaponized to pull someone into your orbit without them even realizing it. The truth is, you're already playing this game every day, but are you winning, or are you the one being played? Stay tuned, because what you're about to learn will change how you see every relationship and give you the power to control the outcome. Seduction, at its core, operates as an intricate psychological game governed by unspoken rules, strategic maneuvers, and calculated exchanges of power. This game transcends mere romantic pursuit, extending into business negotiations, social dynamics, and even geopolitical relations. Like chess masters anticipating moves several turns ahead, skilled seducers understand that every interaction follows predictable patterns of human psychology. The game begins with recognizing that all human connections involve an element of performance. We consciously or unconsciously present curated versions of ourselves designed to elicit specific responses. What makes seduction distinct from ordinary social interaction is its intentional manipulation of these performances to create targeted emotional responses. The playing field exists in the liminal space between truth and illusion, where carefully constructed personas interact with the target's subconscious desires. Successful players master the art of suggestion over declaration, allowing their targets to believe they're discovering truths rather than being fed narratives. This game thrives on the fundamental human need to solve mysteries. The seducer presents just enough intriguing contradictions to activate this solving mechanism without ever providing full resolution. The rules of this game derive from immutable aspects of human psychology rather than arbitrary social conventions. Scarcity increases perceived value, uncertainty heightens emotional investment, and gradual revelation sustains interest. These principles remain constant whether applied to a courtship ritual or a high-stakes business deal. The skilled player understands that overt pursuit often triggers resistance, while strategic withdrawal sparks chase instincts. They recognize that people fall in love with representations rather than realities, which is why the game emphasizes crafting compelling projections over revealing authentic selves. This explains why some of history's most renowned seducers, from Cleopatra to Casanova, devoted meticulous attention to staging environments and controlling narratives. The game rewards those who appreciate the theatrical dimension of human interaction, where every gesture, word, and silence carries calculated significance. Timing becomes as crucial as content, with effective players developing an intuitive sense for when to advance and when to retreat. They understand that vulnerability, when strategically deployed, can be more powerful than strength, and that apparent weaknesses often serve as cleverly disguised strengths. At its highest levels, the game transcends conscious manipulation and becomes a form of psychological artistry. The most effective players don't follow rigid scripts but adapt fluidly to their target's responses, creating the illusion of organic connection. They master the delicate balance between giving enough to maintain interest while withholding enough to sustain mystery. This dynamic creates what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement, the powerful behavioral conditioning where unpredictable rewards create obsessive patterns. The game's winners understand that total conquest often kills desire, which is why they structure interactions to preserve some element of the unknown. They appreciate that seduction never truly ends, it merely evolves into different forms of engagement. The true masters play not just to win individual encounters but to cultivate lasting mystique that continues to intrigue long after initial contact. This explains why certain historical and fictional figures maintain their seductive power across centuries. Their stories were crafted with the same strategic precision as their live interactions, creating narratives that continue to seduce generations removed from the original players. The dark side of this game emerges when players forget its inherently consensual nature. True seduction requires the target's willing participation in the illusion. Those who mistake seduction for coercion or manipulation inevitably lose, as the game's foundation rests on mutual pleasure in the interplay. Ethical players recognize the difference between creating compelling fantasies and exploiting vulnerabilities. They understand that the most satisfying victories occur when both parties feel they've gotten what they wanted, even if their understandings of the exchange differ. This psychological game mirrors nature's most sophisticated survival strategies, the bioluminescent lures of deep-sea anglerfish, the elaborate mating dances of birds of paradise, reminding us that seduction represents one of life's most fundamental and ancient forms of communication. To study seduction as a game is to study human nature itself, with all its contradictions, aspirations, and unconscious drives laid bare in the interplay between hunter and hunted, pursuer and pursued, storyteller and audience. The game never really ends, the players merely grow more sophisticated in their understanding of its infinite variations and possibilities. Asterisk, so now you understand, seduction isn't about chance. It's not luck. It's a game. A game with rules, strategies, and players who either win or get played. And after today, you've just leveled up. You've seen behind the curtain. You know how the illusions work. But here's what we didn't have time for, asterisk. Asterisk, what happens when someone else is playing this game on you? How do you spot the traps before you fall into them? How do you turn the tables when you realize you're the pawn, not the player? Asterisk. Asterisk, that's what's coming next. Because this was just the opening move. The real game, the dangerous one, starts when you learn to see the strings controlling every relationship, every negotiation, every moment of so-called fate. And trust me, you'll never look at people the same way again. Asterisk. Asterisk, so. Are you ready to play? Asterisk.